What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Machete, directed by Robert Rodriguez, starring Danny Trejo. Machete is a throwback movie to the glory days of action exploitation movies of the 80s with Arnold, like Arnold and Stallone. Machete is pretty much a love letter to that genre of movies, and I appreciate it and love it because of it. Machete is not a movie that's going to put on your critical thinking skills. It's not a movie that's going to make you discover the meaning of life. It's a movie that's going to entertain the ever loving hell out of you. Do I think Machete has a couple of things I would have liked to have seen done differently because it was setting up some ideas that I thought were actually pretty cool? Yes, it does. But does the movie overall keep your attention and entertain you from start to finish? Absolutely. The first thing about Machete that I love is the cast. Danny Trejo as the title role. This is Danny Trejo's first movie as a leading man, and I thought he was great. I think Danny Trejo has such a screen presence to him. He can say so little and do so much at the same time. And Machete, Danny fits that role like a glove. Machete is pretty much an ex-federale who is on a quest for revenge, and Danny Trejo in the role, fantastic. It's not a role that's going to make you think. It's not a role that's going to make you do this or that. It's just a Machete is the quiet badass, and you have Danny Trejo, who just as a human being just has this most rugged look to him, and he fits it like a glove. The scenes that Danny Trejo is in, he steals the show. The action sequences he's in, they're all very entertaining, gloriously over the top and gory. And I think Trejo has decent on-screen chemistry with a lot of the actors. I think that Trejo and Michelle Rodriguez, who plays a character called Luz, I think they have decent on-screen chemistry with one another. I like Michelle Rodriguez. I think she's a very talented actress, and I liked her in this movie. And I liked her in this movie. I liked her as the character of Liz, who's the operator of this thing called the Network, which helps harbor illegal immigrants into the states. No, I thought she was a good character. And when the movie when you think the movie nearly kills her off, you're kind of bummed out. But then she comes back as a one-eyed badass, and she's fantastic. Uh, Jessica Alba, who plays another character in this movie, I thought she was okay. Jessica Alba is not the world's greatest actress by any means necessary, and you can tell that when her and Trey are sharing screen time, you know who the better actor is, and you know who has the more on-screen presence, and it's not Alba. But I do give her credit; she did do a decent job in this movie. Uh, Honestly, truthfully, I would have just combined the Rodriguez and Alba roles as to one because, to me, Michelle Rodriguez should have gotten more screen time because I liked her character much better, and I thought her and Trejo had better on-screen chemistry together. That's just me personally. Cheech Marin is in this movie. He plays Machete's brother, who is a priest, and this movie did not even scratch the surface of the comedic value it could have gotten out of Trejo and Marin because in the one scene they shared together, to me, I thought it was hilarious, and they had untapped chemistry, and I would have not have killed off the Padre characters as quick as this movie did. I would have saved it a little more towards the end. Kind of have the priest kind of have Machete's brother be there when the big final battle happens, and have him go out like that. Not only that, I also think that the Padre's death in this movie kind of dark, like really dark. Like he gets crucified. I mean, it's like for this movie to me, this movie's goofy and over the top, but that's where the movie tries to that goes a little too serious for me, for my taste, and it kind of like I didn't really care for it. I mean, if it was any other movie, I would have been like cool. But this is Machete. This is supposed to be a fun, action-packed, violent movie, and the crucifixion scene to me was just I don't know. It didn't sit well with me. Is what I'm trying to say. Not from a religious standpoint, just because I think the movie just took a unnecessary darker tone. That's just me personally. But overall, I like Warren in the movie as the Padre. I thought he was hilarious. Now, now we're getting on to my three favorite characters in this whole movie, which are Michael Booth, played by Jeff Fahey, Torres, played by Steven Seagal, and Senator McLaughlin, played by Robert De Niro. They're also joined by Don Johnson, who plays a guy called Von Jackson, who is the leader of border vigilantes, who's being sponsored by the senator. So and Don Johnson's good in the movie as well, but he does not have the 1/10 of the on-screen presence that Seagal, Fahey, and De Niro have. I love these three guys in this movie. Now, I am not a huge fan of Steven Seagal. He never did it for me, but I liked him in this movie, and I like how he's pretty much the puppet master, and Michael Booth and McLaughlin are pretty much his puppets. Like they really built Torres up as the be all end all, and I like the fact that how he and Machete have a history with one another. As we see in the prologue, Torres killed Machete's wife, and we also find out that Torres and Machete used to be federales, cops together, until Torres went bad and became a drug kingpin. Overall, I thought Steven Seagal put on a really good performance. I thought he was a quiet badass, and he really gave the impression of a guy who was in control of everything. And the fight scene between Torres and Machete, very entertaining. Though I think it lasts way too short. It could have been stretched out for another 5 minutes since the movie has been building up the rivalry between them. And Seagal to me had a really good on-screen presence. If my only gripe is that the fight scene between Torres and Machete was not long enough. I needed at least another 5 minutes, and I think it would have been great. Uh, Michael Booth. I love Jeff Fahey as an actor, and I think he was really good as Michael Booth. I like how he's the one who I like how he pretty much hired Machete to shoot the senator, but then he double crosses Machete because the whole thing is one big elaborate conspiracy theory to get Senator McLaughlin votes to take a seat, so that way he can put a limit on illegal immigration by building a fence, kind of similar to the Orange Man in real life. But I like Fahey in the movie just in general. He's a ruthless businessman, and the movie midway through tries to make you sympathize with him just a little bit. And I think Jeff Fahey, to me, for my money, I thought he balanced it out just to the point where you gave him a little bit of sympathy when he's concerned about his wife and daughter after they go missing. Of course, that's before Machete decided to have a menage a trois with them, which is a very entertaining scene to itself. But yeah, I like Fahey in the movie. I thought he was good. Now we get on to the person who I think steals the entire show and who I think does not get enough screen time. Robert De Niro as Senator McLaughlin is absolutely hysterical. You can tell that De Niro is having a ball playing this over the top, just Republican type of character. De Niro is great. You can De Niro is great in this, and is great. He's great at playing like this New Yorker, disguising himself as like a Southern senator, and and you can just tell that this man is just enjoying the part. He's enjoying the role, and this movie does not have enough De Niro as McLaughlin because to me he steals the show in every scene he's in. Especially when De Niro goes on his classic tirade when he starts cursing like a madman. Hilarious stuff. It's great. And I also think that Fahey and De Niro have pretty good on-screen chemistry with one another. In the scenes that they're in, there's a lot of comedic elements to their scenes when they're bantering with one another. I thought it was good, but I also think the McLaughlin character was kind of killed off in an unceremonious way that was not satisfying to me. At least I would have. I think the character deserved a much better death. But that's just me personally. But overall, I love the McLaughlin character. He's one of my favorites. This movie also includes Lindsay Lohan, who plays Booth's daughter. To Lindsay's credit, she's okay. She's not in the movie enough for me to really give her any criticism, but in the few scenes that she's in, I find her to be decent. She wasn't horrible, but she doesn't give a performance that you're going to remember in the long run. This movie also includes Daryl Sabera from the Spy Kids movies. He plays like this wannabe Mexican, white boy Mexican, and he was fine. No, nothing bad at all. He has some funny moments to him. The action scenes in this movie, as I said before, they're over the top and they're just glorious to watch. It's extremely violent, but it's violent to the point where it gets goofy, with the exception of the crucifixion scene, in which I think the movie took it maybe got a little too dark for its own good. Uh, but that's whatever. Oh, side note: this movie also includes Tom Savini as a character named Omar Anamanpour, who is like a hitman for hire. He's actually the one who actually doesn't kill the preacher character, but he pretty much caps him. Savini, in the few scenes that he's in, I thought he was pretty cool. I want to see more of his character because the Osiris character has some potential to it. So yeah, with all that being said, those are my thoughts on Machete. I'm gonna give this movie a solid 8 out of 10. This is a fun action exploitation movie. The entire cast in this movie all looks like they're having boatloads of fun. There's a lot. There's a few more things I can look into, like the whole thing about immigration and Mexican and shit like that. But this movie's not about telling a story. It's about just being a fun action movie, and overall, it's a fun action movie. So yeah, 8 out of 10 for Machete. Let me know your thoughts in the comment sections down below. Like this video and subscribe. And I will check you back next time for more.